Electrocast.
Say hello to the all-new Alexa Plus and see how Alexa can do so much more for you. Need tickets to see your favorite artist? Craving your comfort restaurant? Just sit back, relax, and talk naturally. Alexa's on it. It learns your style, anticipates what's next, and makes it happen across Echo, Fire TV, and more. Learn more at amazon.com/new Alexa.
This episode is brought to you by Greenlight. Get this. Adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/Spotify. Greenlight.com/Spotify.
Hold on to your butts.
We are changing the course of history as we see it. That is what Wesley demands.
Now, this affects Iris. Iris, where are you?
What you feel only matters to you.
I do not entertain hypotheticals. The world as it is vexing enough.
Iris, I have a tip for you.
Don't take drugs!
Or whatever movies with Wesley and Iris.
What up and welcome to Or Whatever Movies. I'm your co-host Iris and I'm here with my older brother
Wesley, and today we're discussing a movie from 2025. McDonald's presents The Roofman Beyond Twin Pines Motel.
Blue Valentine was seen in France?
Yes. And The Place Beyond the Pines for his most notable, both with Ryan Gosling, who I don't think could have played this role.
Why? Too pretty?
He's a little bit too pretty, yeah. Sorry, Channing Tatum has dumb face, but he got Kelly Ray beaming. All the supermodels at the brunch were all beaming or whatever. They just love him.
The supermodels at the brunch in the film?
Yeah, this is like a singles brunch, not a supermodels brunch. And I'm just like, he's like, am I the only guy here? Love your shoes. And he's like checking out the shoes. And I was like burying my head in my hands like, oh my God.
Was it cringy?
I mean, it was a little bit cringy, but only because the compliments were so thin. I mean, no one falls for that, right? They were just like, woo, and like swooning and laughing and stuff. Just those empty compliments. Do those work? I mean, he wasn't trying to work them for any effect other than acceptance. But those kind of compliments feel more creepy to me than nothing. You know what I mean? When it's overly complimentary and obviously facetious.
It's stripper compliments. He's doing it to thoroughly charm them, and he's successful at it, and he's entertaining.
Are you supposed to charm strippers?
No, strippers are charming, and they'll tell you that they love you and how handsome you are because that's what you want to hear.
That's appropriate for Channing Tatum, who played a stripper. Wasn't he the original Magic Mike?
I mean, he still is Magic Mike in many ways.
And if I may be so bold, I think that it's okay for strippers to have dumb face, because that's not what anyone's focusing on.
You had first introduced the concept of Channing Tatum dumb face to me in, what was it, Fly Me to the Moon?
Yeah.
Where he's also charming and handsome, except in Fly Me to the Moon, he's a rocket scientist.
Yeah, he's also supposed to be smart, but as the cop said, he's also an idiot.
And as Lakeith Stanfield says, and perhaps my favorite quote of the entire movie, you're the smartest dumb N-word that I've ever met.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was smartest dumb N-word or dumbest smart N-word I've ever met.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Whether or not it's worth it to quote it and substitute N-word, and whether that quote is worth it. We're going to get in so much trouble.
Lakeith Stanfield is worth it. He's one of the best parts of this movie.
Absolutely one of the best parts for all the fleetingness of that performance. He's not available to hang out in North Carolina for the day shooting. Let's put him on a 6-month tour of Afghanistan.
Convenient. Every cutaway to Lakeith Stanfield, though, is everything that I'm feeling or everything that I need to know about the main character. It's so great.
Yeah, it's all in his eyes. He's kind of judgy, or he's assessing the situation or trying to figure out how to get himself out of a situation. He doesn't say much. He does have a deep voice, but the gravitas just comes from the stillness of his performances and his utter disregard for being performative. He doesn't change his posture or his movements. He just feels real. And he rolls over and he's like, tell him to call tomorrow. I'm asleep, dude, or whatever. And he just rolls over and it's naturalistic because it's not emotive and performative.
And he's a great foil to Channing Tatum's Jeff/John character, because as smart as John is, Jeff John, Lakeith Stanfield's Steve seems to just understand the world so much better. He's filling up the pool and they're having this conversation and he's just like, you can stop filling up the pool. Like, no one's going to swim in that.
Jeff, you have to go. Yeah, you have a girlfriend, don't you? You have to go tomorrow. I got people waiting on you, dude. He was me.
Oh.
With more N-words.
You're the Lakeith Stanfield of this movie?
Why would Lakeith Stanfield, what was his character's name? Why would
Steve.
he hang out with Jeff?
They served in Afghanistan together.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And that is a bond that is fitting for this kind of movie, because it's the only one where you would be fiercely loyal and literally put your neck on the line to help idiots who are specialists in one or two things, but otherwise muck the rest of their lives up, dude. I gotta say, Roofman kind of made me sad. And I was like, maybe it was my mood or whatever. So I rewatched Roofman, now available on Paramount Plus streaming. And again, it made me really sad.
Aww.
Is it effective because it brought forth this emotion, and an emotional response is good, whether it be scared or happy or laughing or sadness? Because this wasn't a poorly made movie. It wasn't poorly written. It's just those poor characters, these poor, dumb, bumbling, sorry, backwoods characters. And that flavor permeated everything. Didn't the lives of this community make you sad?
I wouldn't say that. No, the lives of the people in this community felt real. I will say that I think it was well written and well made, produced, directed. I might venture to say that what's sad about this movie is that maybe the ultimate message is people don't change.
Oh, okay.
And the fact that we get to that message through so much stress and anxiety, and that their little walk in the park and romance makes us feel hopeful, that just is in conflict with this takeaway. Including
Derek Cianfrance, and certainly Channing Tatum, who was the only good decision in the entirety of this movie. He was appropriately lunkheaded, but somehow cute enough that we would like him, and had the right body or whatever and stunt work for extensive nude scenes and climbing up into his little makeshift perch.
Right.
But Derek Cianfrance maybe even doesn't change, because he's known. I mean, Blue Valentine is about romance, but it's very dark, and Place Beyond the Pines was very dour. I don't know that Derek Cianfrance has it in him because he doesn't change. And Channing Tatum, what did you say that was said about him at the Q&A?
I said during our discussion of F1, the movie, now available at orwhatevermovies.com or wherever you get podcasts, that, like Brad Pitt in F1, Channing Tatum in Roofman is the delivery of the promise of the lead actor. This is the promise of Channing Tatum. This role is tailor-made for him. And I think he delivers on it, in that he is cast really well, that he has this balance of, as you call it, lunkheadedness and intelligence, that he's cute and charming enough that we believe that Kirsten Dunst's Lee would fall in love with him and trust him enough to invite him into her family, a vulnerable, newly single mom with two impressionable young girls, that we could have a little bit of hope that this character might succeed and change and be able to live on the up and up.
But on that note, Channing Tatum, I think really well suited for this role, for better or worse. Kirsten Dunst is always great and powerful in her reserved white girlness. Some shocking names popped up. Ben Mendelsohn was supposed to be a huge thing for a while. I don't know if he quite, achieved that legendary status. Lakeith Stanfield similarly positioned to be great and has had some kind of bad luck lately. I'm not sure that I liked those people, but maybe it came down to the characters. So effective in their characters that I believed them and was continually frustrated that I wanted to like these people because I like the actors. Not a single good decision other than casting in this movie.
From a story perspective or from a filmmaking perspective?
From a story perspective.
The characters don't make good decisions.
And I don't know that Derek Cianfrance made the right decision in directing this movie, which is a comedy. It's more a comedy than an action movie, probably more a comedy than a drama. But still, they were like, it's going to be light and fun and like heartwarming, maybe even family friendly. And he's like, no.
Maybe even a Christmas movie.
Sure, except and he was like, yeah, but I'm going to show that girl with her boob out when she answers the phone and I'm going to put dick and balls in it. Like, I don't care what you say. Like,
did we
it's
see?
Just two in the middle. Absolutely.
Well, you were looking out for it, apparently.
Apparently, because I was like, wow, like it wasn't just a quick shot, which generally elicits laughs. It was a lot. And he was climbing stuff.
Yeah.
Channing Tatum dangerously climbing frameworks that those shelves, I was like, I hope those hold.
I don't think that there was any man who didn't cringe when he climbs up the metal structure, like penis first.
Poster quote. Let's hear it. From top to bottom, what was a good decision in this movie? Do you remember talking about Parasite? You probably don't. Neither do our listeners remember our discussion on Parasite or orwhatevermovies.com where we become podcast. It was like the third one. And we said in Parasite, I talked about these people who, like Jeffrey, maybe missed their calling. He was a military guy and maybe that's not missing his calling, but back in the real world, he's good at a thing. He's observant, as Lakeith Stanfield observantly points out, and then just does nothing with it. And maybe there's a level of frustration that I feel I have potential as a human being and like I'm missing my calling or my sweet spot. He's only good at that one thing and doesn't do anything other than the execution of robbing McDonald's, which he did 40 plus times, along with, I think, the newscast said Best Buy and something else.
Yeah, Burger King's.
Other than that, give me one thing that he did right.
Okay, but you're talking about this like it's an indictment on the movie. Isn't the whole point that this is a movie and a story about bad decisions and the consequences?
Right, but who was it made for? Was it made for adults like us who can handle and want Channing Tatum dong and want the boob hanging out when the lady's on the phone and the crushing sadness?
People have dongs and nipples and they hang out sometimes. That's not the point.
That's the poster quote. So the point is, what was this movie intended to convey? Was it just the wildness of the story and how implausible, but it's really true? Did you see that that wonderful Emmy-nominated documentary series? What was it? McMillions, also about McDonald's a few years ago?
It's the whole point. It's a stranger than fiction based on a true story that you have to question, like, did this really happen? Could this really happen? Do people like this really exist? And I guess the idea is that they do, that people exist and they have dongs and they make bad decisions.
And McDonald's cleverly positioning itself right in the middle of these kinds of people. McDonald's is America's restaurant, right?
Yep.
It's everywhere, in every state, on every corner, regardless of the...
$1.99 McCafe.
McCafe.
All day. McCafe.
Aren't all the sodas $1? Or sorry, pops or soda pops or Cokes, depending regionally.
What?
Apparently, like in the East, they say pop. And out here in the normal place, we say soda. But in the South, no matter what the flavor is, you call it a Coke.
And then do you say like a grape Coke or a Pepsi Coke?
Yeah. Give me a Coke. What kind? Grape. Not that that's ever in a fountain. Maybe in the South, but not that I've ever seen grape soda in a fountain.
What's the cherry drink?
There's the one stuff that I got you that one time, the cheer wine.
Yeah, the cheer wine.
So that's kind of what I did as I ran down the list of being like, John, Jeff, you're doing that so wrong, dude. He's G.I. Joe. He is Gambit. You don't know because you don't watch Marvel movies. But Channing Tatum, for all his expertise, got run down by some bobo chubby cops, dude.
He wanted to get caught.
At the birthday party?
It wasn't a birthday. Caught. It was Christmas dinner because this is our Christmas movie here at orwhatevermovies.com.
No. I'm talking about presenting his kid with the bike.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, the registration. I got that. He's running away and
He could have taken at least 2 or 3 more steps before tearing through the party. Get inside the house and then run.
The military dude got taken down by some local backwoods cops.
There were at least a dozen of them. And he wanted to get caught the whole time. He wanted to get caught.
And I have a problem with that. From a viewer standpoint, explain to me the sensitivity that I'm missing, where he's driven to crime by desperation. But he's so nice. He's up against a wall. He deserves leniency. But he, like you said, he never changes. What's the point of escaping prison for basically a life sentence to go to Brazil or a non-extradition country if you can't see your kid? He's lurking and watching his kid from the bushes. He would have had a better experience in prison if he had waited for the mom's influence to wane a little bit, where the kid started calling, which, for the purposes of some semblance of a happy ending, she ultimately did. Why, after he escaped, he got taken down in front of her? She was the only one up on the hilltop watching dad being restrained. And then still, at the end, she's calling him and it's like, I got all A's or whatever.
Oh.
It's tapping into your emotionality. You're like, oh, I love him and the daughter or whatever. But he did everything wrong to be in the daughter's life, everything.
Well, as Lakeith Stanfield's Steve, the truth slanger, says, when he's giving him the airline ticket, the passport, his contact information down in Brazil or wherever, he's saying, this is your chance. This is your second shot at life. Don't screw it up. That's the best that a man in his position, in Jeff John's position, can have.
Yeah, if only he had done that.
If only he weren't a self-saboteur. And so he had the opportunity, but he couldn't take it. And that's what he could have done. But he couldn't let go, I guess, of that idea that he could never contact his family or his daughter again. What I think ROOFMAN succeeds at, or excels at perhaps the best, although I think it excels in many ways, is communicating to me, and this is kind of not fun or entertaining or whatever, but it definitely made me think. It made me think just how complicated justice is. I mean, it's pretty cut and dry when you put a murderer away. I mean, regardless of what the motivation might have been, you've taken a person's life, and that is that you can never get that back. But when you talk about him getting, what was it, 35 years?
45 years.
45
and then added
years?
Another 365 months on top of that after his escape attempt, which was only one of another 2 attempts, a total of 3 escape attempts.
This episode is brought to you by McAfee. I got a message that our flight was canceled. But they can put us on another flight, and we just need to confirm our credit card info.
Wait, I got a security alert from McAfee. It flagged that message as a scam.
McAfee's scam detector automatically spots and alerts you to suspicious texts, emails, and deepfake videos. Learn more at McAfee.com/online protection.
Kraft Mac and Cheese is the best thing ever. It's even better than pop music. You look just as natural enjoying us at age 13 as you do 55. Kraft Mac and Cheese. Best thing ever.
Get it. It was a lot of armed robberies and some kidnappings and stuff like that.
And assault.
And that stuff's not cool. But I don't know also how that is humane. And when you look at a character who you kind of like the John Jeff character in ROOFMAN, it really calls that into question. I mean, Brian talks more to prisoners than he does to me. He's told me stories about people's impression of being behind bars, that one of the worst possible things is that there's never quiet. And that's just one thing that you miss from being on the outside. What I'm saying is when he's talking to his daughter on the phone and stuff, and he's like trying to get through to her, I don't think I've ever felt more claustrophobic. Like just that feeling of hopelessness, of helplessness, of claustrophobia. We've always fancied ourselves people who might thrive in prison, but ROOFMAN kind of changed my perspective on that.
I don't understand. Noise all the time? Just activate noise canceling on your AirPods Pro 3.
Oh,
I don't understand.
Yeah, it's true.
But this is what I'm getting at. Maybe that was it, this feeling of hopelessness and sadness, and that I directed at the movie because it was a little bit hard for me to get lost. Maybe I was too in it and too realizing it because I did feel hopeless and sad. I mean, he said that the prison was just another room for him, right? This is my home now. It's really no different than you get better food in prison than peanut M&Ms all the time. He was in that little alcove thing all bunched up and hiding for the vast majority of the day, like all day long. If you commit to going to see Lee or whatever, then you're escaping there and you can't go back home until nighttime when the store is closed. Like, that's late at night. And so he was stuck in his little prison cell up top by the sign a lot of the time.
Wasn't John Jeff just working the night shift at Toys R Us, reporting to bosses who are irritating? He's like, tick-tock, time to get to work. Something like so annoying.
And does his he does his appropriately sized Peter Dinklage hands. Like he did like a clockwork thing with his hands. Sorry. And he was supposed to be consistently funny. And he was little and brusque with his little brusque mustache and like, wow, just...
Will you stop saying little, please? He's supposed to be funny, and some of his Office Space shenanigans are a little bit over the top. But honestly, I think the best performance of him in this movie was The Realist. It's when he was laughing at his coworker for calling Jeff John a bully. I don't know if you remember this, but it was just this little scene at the end. It's part of a montage. And they
I remember.
Yeah, they're like triaging all the hostages. And he was like, he called him a bully.
Yeah, it was kind of a reconciliation between those two characters.
Yeah,
it was nice. Hated his boss. Yeah, I guess. And it's all going to come around to try to be redemptive in the end. Okay. I am a grown man, older, in fact, not much older than Channing Tatum, but older, in fact, than Jeff was. And I get stuck for what it maybe by my own design in a Toys R Us 2004, circa 2004. And you know that I'm in that Toys R Us. What section do you go to find me?
Video games?
No. You go to the DVDs. Do you know what was on DVD in 2004?
Jesse James?
Steven Spielberg's Catch Me If You Can. In real life, Jeffrey Manchester, he was really careful, and the only set of prints that they were able to find, or they definitely did find prints, or it was the only DVD that his fingerprints were on, was a copy of Catch Me If You Can.
No way.
He didn't see the town, so he didn't know what pitfalls to avoid for that movie. But he watched a heist movie and still did so many things wrong. Derek Cianfrance, writer, director, producer, said that he was fascinated by this character who is undoubtedly a child in a man's body. And that was continually reinforced by his decision to eat nothing but M&Ms and ride little bikes. Like, it's terrible. Is he supposed to be a hero? Because even Derek Cianfrance is like, I wanted to show him bumbling, and he didn't quite say that. I'm paraphrasing. But it might as well have been Goofman or Doofman. And then he tried to be a dad, and maybe he could only appeal to these kids because he's a kid himself. And like, no, please, we're almost done with the thing or whatever. And it didn't work with the other daughter with the erector set, but like, yeah, you get in and you drive a car crazy. Now that you're, of legal age, and he drives the car, terrible decision. The visibility was just ridiculous. Going to church and going to social events and stuff. And it's like, you're doing it all wrong. The only reason he wasn't the worst kid in this movie is because that older daughter was the worst kid ever. I wanted to scream at the screen. I've never wanted to scream at a TV screen worse, or a movie screen, about how horrible kids are. Horrible.
Was it the Christmas potluck?
Oh,
that was the church potluck?
That was flat out inappropriate and cruel. But it was more her total disregard and like walking away from him and stuff, and just, oh God. And I get it. You don't trust a dude when your mom is newly divorced. Never once did the dad of those kids in this movie poke his head in for anything. There was no, oh, he's going to be the one to recognize Jeff John. You know, when what was the movie where the dad was lurking around and he understood something that no one else could see? The dad doesn't approve. Oh, it was Labor Day. Also about a convict that takes up with a sad, like, backwoods wife. Sad backwoods single mom.
Kate Winslet and Josh Brolin, our discussion on orwhatevermovies.com, wherever you get podcasts. Much smarter, much better dad, much more effective criminal. Yeah, but you're talking about the characters again. You're not talking about the movie. The movie Roofman makes you cringe, makes you stressed out, makes you hopefully laugh, maybe cry. It's a surprisingly emotional movie. I was gripping onto Amy almost the entire time we were watching this movie, burying my face, sinking into my chair, cringing. I was so surprised and frankly delighted by Roofman as a movie. I wasn't delighted with the Jeffrey Manchester character, but that's kind of the point.
Okay. Discounting the ending of The Shawshank Redemption, we went into a horrible, prison is no fairy tale place, but we found love in a hopeless place and learned to like those characters, and we're cheering for Andy. And Red, who is a legitimate convicted murderer, spoiler for all that stuff, I didn't like him. And I didn't know what emotions, was it supposed to be triumphant? It was so middle of the road. And when it would aim for the marks like comedy or drama or romance or realism, I felt like it missed the mark. It was a lot of labor for very little love. And that's why I think it was ineffective, because I'm not sure what made it so this story deserved to be told. How is it that he was like the local celebrity and nobody at church recognized him? That Lee didn't recognize him? That nobody made the connection when Tyrion is like, he was crazy. He was a naked guy and he charged at me and he was showering. Of course he lives there. And nobody was like, oh, I wonder if that's local Robin Hood, Jeffrey Manchester. Nobody made the connection. And it was supposed to be, because we don't want him to get caught, because we want him to crusade and adventure forever. As Lee says, the irreparably damaged Lee. Now we just look at it as an adventurer. The fact that she showed up for him after what he put her through just shows her damage.
Whatever they had was real, despite how maybe unreal the context was. And the real Lee, as far as I know, whether it was from that documentary footage during the credits or from the Q&A, the real Lee and her daughters say that it was the most fun half year or a few months of their lives, that it was a great adventure.
And maybe for the movie after the fact, because I guess he had nothing to lose. Basically, he left his daughter, who had also left him, broken up with him, to be with the new family and the new daughters. And that didn't work out either. But
you're asking why. You're asking why Roofman.
Yeah.
Why now? Why Derek Cianfrance and team make this movie?
Why would Tyrion not report or make a connection about $10,000 in video game inventory loss?
You hate the implausibility. You probably hated that car scene too.
I did. I hated the car scene. No mom would accept it except Damaged Lee, who was like, I didn't like that driving. Now here's a smooch. Please don't do that again. That was scary. and that horrible kid doesn't deserve anything. The fact that it worked, that he switched her schedule, but somehow he still mucked it up, that she walked into the robbery. He goes so far, and then he has an attack of conscience. Was that Lee motivated? It's just, he never changed. Jeff was never not a lunkheaded idiot who was trained to use a gun and break into stuff and be secretive and elude capture. The escape was clever, but that's what he does. Of course the dude is going to go to Christmas. And I don't think he saw the ambush coming. And maybe that didn't happen in real life, because she said she didn't find out about it until after he was captured. In real life, Jeffrey was captured as he was leaving her apartment, and she was completely blindsided.
Aww.
But I also think that there was commentary here. I think that it was created specifically so we see the bumbling moments, but there's a steady hand on the wheel, I think. But it read wrong to me. This is like The Wolf of Snow Hollow of comedy caper heist movies or whatever. It rang false to me because the decisions were so implausible. It was attempting to be manipulatively heartwarming, and I didn't get the fuzzies. People seem to like this movie. An unexpected gem. Are you going to do the IMDb user reviews?
Yeah, all funny, all positive, but all 7 stars. Good one, smart, funny, unexpectedly tender, an easy watch, one of the best surprises, and my favorite, Channing T's best work to date.
And maybe that's the case. He definitely had an opportunity to shine, didn't have to dress up any, could wear hoodies and silly outfits and get on the floor and play with kids. And maybe that's what he's best at. I don't know. People who viewed this title also viewed Catch Me If You Can, The Town, Blow, Better Movies.
I'm sorry you didn't like Roofman, Wes. No wonder you didn't want to talk about it.
It was a little bit like a Petri dish, and for some reason you favor the lighter, fuzzier molds than the black, like gunky-looking molds. And it's just like some parts I like, but it was all kind of moldy. And at the end, I had to throw it away and never think about it again because it was bad. Because it was like bad for you, like it was unhealthy. Mm-hmm. It was an interesting experiment, and I definitely liked things about it, in particular the acting and stuff. So much so that the hateful characters made me hate them because they performed them so well.
So I think this is more of a reflection on the choices of Jeffrey Manchester than perhaps the filmmaking in Roofman. But either way, this one wasn't the holiday hit that perhaps you were looking for. Although I think it may have been for some of our listeners, and I hope you enjoyed this Christmas selection, Christmas adjacent discussion at orwhatevermovies and orwhatevermovies.com. If you did, let us know, 818-835-0473. or orwhatevermovies@gmail.com, and by giving us a rating, preferably 5 stars, wherever you listen to this podcast, because you know why, Wes?
Why?
It helps people find Or Whatever Movies, which we like.
And because it's Christmas time.
So thanks for listening, and happy holidays. And we'll see you next time.
Happy ROOFMAN. Next year.
Ever thought about starting your own podcast?
Do you have a business or a message you want to share with the world?
Well, now it's easier than ever with Electricast. Hi, I'm Mark Netter.
And I'm Peter Rafelson. We're the founders of Electricast Media.
Whether you want to start a new podcast or already have one, join Electricast to grow your audience, monetize your content, and build your community.
With our simple sign-up, you get free promotion, world-class analytics, premium ads, and personal support.
Go to electricast.com and join our community today.
Electricast. Transform your influence.
Electricast. Electricast.
Welcome to the Candle Power Hour. Come with us backstage behind the scenes of show business spanning over 4 decades and bringing you the experiences that can only be told by the people who were there.
Our guests are from the A-list, the F-list, and everyone in between. Get set for some of the most insane, hilarious, and inspiring stories you will ever hear.
I'm Mercury.
And I'm Diego.
Your host for the Candle Power Hour.